here, and here. Okay? So that's a bit of advertising you've just seen. Obviously, it didn't look like hardcore. It didn't say buy BMW. What it was doing is what technically we call facilitation. What BMW are trying to do is to facilitate the users in making more value. So by watching that video, our friend at the back who goes to track days, he on one of those videos, went, oh, about those track days, this is a really cool bike. So what BMW are trying to do there is help us in a very gentle way to do a bit more with the motorcycle. Now that motorcycle is actually very interesting because the S1000, when it came into the UK, BMW had never been in the sort of super bike, 1000cc type bikes. That went from zero, nothing at all, to 40% of the UK market in 3 months. And that is pretty amazing. And the dealers sold out almost instantly. So basically the bike was unattainable. If you wanted one, you could not get one from a BMW dealer. Because BMW allocated to the UK, they sold them, that was it. So actually this type of situation, where if I had a friend who really wanted one, he might have paid me slightly over the money for that bike. Okay? So when you think about this value in use, we're also getting to another very important idea, which you may have heard of, which is user-created content. Okay? Now, when we're talking about a motorcycle, obviously the user didn't build the motorcycle, do the engineering, all that stuff. So over here, we have a big research and development team doing that. Okay? But however, the user adds the value. Now in some cases, if it's things like books or things like that, the technology is allowing users to actually create the content. But it's not actually, I'm expressing this very well. The point is, the reason why we need to understand the sort of BMW situation, that's a traditional product. You know, we're not going to create motorcycles. However, if you realise what's going on, you realise the user is actually adding a huge part to it. If you now imagine that actually we're talking about something like a mobile phone, if you think about it, what value is created in a mobile phone? Yeah. So how much did it cost to make it? What value? Where does the value come from in a mobile phone? Yeah, exactly. So if you think about it, you know, what value is my iPhone? I just think I'll find where it is actually once we were just having that conversation. But yeah, if you think about it, what value is my iPhone creating? It's a beautiful piece of engineering. Sure, it makes Apple shareholders very happy that people are crazy enough to pay all this extra money for these things. But here it all is. It's a nice piece of black stuff. Yeah, what value? What's the value? What's it doing? What's happening?
We can use it to different comparison.
Yeah, but you think about it, where is all the value to me? So when I unlock it and I text my wife or I look at the photographs she sent me from Las Vegas last night, that's what creates value. It's what I do with it. Okay, and that's another, so what's happening generally, in fact this was me playing around with booking.com to check out at the hotel. So I booked this online, transferred it to passport on the iPhone and just checked in using that. I do the same with BA at the airport. The point really is, you see, what's happening is sort of the hard bit, if you like, the bit where you can say, we've got a big team that make you a product and sell it, is actually progressively getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And all the rest of this is becoming actually more and more important. And this is very, very important for you to understand, because I think in the longer term, the roles of big companies like Microsoft, Apple, BMW, Mercedes, you know, whatever, their job is going to be to facilitate. They provide the basic tools. They provide the engineering of the phones, the network services, but whether there is value or not will depend on what I do with it. And if I can't make phone calls, I'm not going to be able to make much value. Yeah? So as marketing people, you should be very, very concerned about the value people make with your products. So this little one coming up next is an example of a company that's sort of built their whole business on this type of idea. Here. MoFilm, actually a really interesting company. They were founded by somebody who worked for a group called the GSMA. These are the people who run the mobile phone standards. And this guy actually, I think he used to run the Middle East and Africa, sort of emerging markets, the GSMA. And what he did is, he came up with a very interesting business. And the way the business works draw my area too much, but essentially what happens is MoFilm, you've got all these big companies like Coke, Pepsi, Telefonica, etc. Big companies spend lots and lots of money on advertising and media. So what MoFilm did is they persuaded them that rather than going to people like WPP and Ogilvy and people like that, spending billions of dollars on advertising, they could get a better job by getting real users to create stuff. So what they did is they set up a whole process of competition. So money comes in here from these people. These people then interact to create user-created content. And then when that's all done, the results are fed directly into the advertising programs of these companies. So that business works. It saves these people literally hundreds of millions of dollars in creative work that they're paying these people to sort of do. And how do these people do it? Because they sort of are connected loosely to the users. But why not go straight to the users and actually get people created anyway? And this is the sort of thing that's starting to happen. So let's have a look at this one, because this is one of the winning MoFilm. They do these competitions every year. They have the festivals in places like Cannes. So here's an example. This is a user-created advert. That's MoFilm all the way. That's the MoFilm bit. This is for 90
Here we go! New Mountain Dew commercial. Crime thriller. We're at the station. Mayor's home for ransom. We already made the drop! Answer it! Don't yet! Yes, right away! No time. We take to the streets! We dodging cars! We run into traffic lights! It's crazy! All units report for delivery! Slide across the hood of the car, stay 1.2 seconds at a time! Hoo-ha! Open the door! You don't listen. Get over here. 15 seconds! Enter the bomb squad! Five, 4, 3, 2. Bombs defused. I saved the day. I jumped the dude. You're in the wrong office. Okay, here we go.
Okay. And that was pretty cool, wasn't it? I mean, for the sort of audience Magnitude is appealing to, it's probably quite cool. But the point is, again, that's an example of a user-created content for the purpose of winning an advertising competition. The other little example I was showing people earlier, yeah. So this is, we talked about motorcycles yesterday. This is my local BMW dealer, Barnstormer. This is their website. Okay, so that's an event they do with us a lot. But the point is, this is a professional WordPress website. They pay a company a reasonable amount of money to design this, to maintain it. It's quite nice. I mean, it's quite nicely done. They've got some quite good examples here. Yeah. So there's quite nice stuff on here, really. But this is actually very interesting. This is actually quite a popular event. You look here, there's no comments, nothing at all. This is actually the website of my local motorcycle club here. So this is somebody riding to Beijing, testing about adventure bikes. Yeah. And this is a bit further down. This is the actual same event being reported here. But again, if you look at it, already on this event, we've got our own videos, this is people leaving. Here's Cafe in London last weekend. And all the way down here, we've got some comments. This is people actually making comments, interacting. if I compare the two websites, because I know the Barnstable people quite well, their website, they spend a lot of money on it. You know, they've probably got about 30 comments on their website, and they've been running much longer than we have. I mean, we have on our site about 300 posts and over 500 comments. And those posts were created by ordinary motorcyclists who had no idea what a website was, you know, 18 months ago. And that's another example of this sort of user-created content going on. So, I think with this discussion, it's quite a complex area. I mean, really, we could probably spend at least half a day going through all the ramifications of this, all the stuff it is, why services are different, there's all sorts of complexity. But if you can take the most important message, that you should be very, very concerned about the value that your users make, because that's really the most important value at the end of the day. And think about this sort of picture, it would be very important.